You're tuned in to Pop Pulse by Dasirandungu, where pop culture meets the tea kettle, from celebrity chaos to show-stopping recaps. I've got your daily dose of drama, delivered unfiltered. Let's dive in. Whenever I hear about James Charles, it's never related to anything good. From the start of his career, he has been in scandal after scandal. This new situation he had found himself in is just as messy as all the others. James found himself in quite a debacle after posting his side of the story on his TikTok page a week ago, addressing the entire situation between Kayla Malik, Evan Johnson, and, most importantly, Zach Sellars from his perspective. James, over the last few weeks, has been accused of housing and allegedly sleeping with Evan Johnson, who is a known abuser. He addressed Zach Sellars, branding him a liar. He claimed that he was spreading misinformation and threatening a defamation lawsuit. So on Wednesday, James posted a video on his TikTok and addressed why he stayed silent during this entire situation, despite his name being dragged in for the worst possible reason. He said he wanted to wait until after Kayla's recent court win against Evan Johnson. Her ex-boyfriend is the entire reason for this whole mess. For those who haven't been brought aware of the entire reason for this, Evan Johnson was accused of horrible things by Kayla, and the court ruled in her favor, and he is going to jail for 18 months. This is a huge win, and James claims he now feels he has the freedom to speak on the situation because he didn't want to affect the case in any way. In his video, James attempted to shut down all the allegations and wrongdoings against him. He called out Zach Sellars, who, if you aren't aware, brought all this mess to the forefront of everyone's minds. He was trying to hold James accountable for his role in this whole mess. In James's video, he states that he does not support Evan Johnson in any way and has completely cut him off. He and Kayla weren't that close as the public believed, and there was nothing romantic between him and Evan. This completely counters what Zach Sellars said about James. For a little recap, Zach and Evan were friends until he saw Kayla's video exposing what Evan did to her during their relationship. He took Kayla's side and has been bringing her story to light and trying to get justice. Still, James was put in the mix as he had a friendship or relationship with Evan, claiming that James was interested in being with Evan behind the scenes. Despite being friends with Kayla, the internet was getting upset because James was potentially trying to go after a younger guy once again, who was straight, and that James had learned nothing from his previous scandals. There were also accusations that James was helping Evan despite the allegations against him. The internet was, of course, upset with James for this and a few other reasons. James was making content with Kayla, and people assumed that they were close. So the fact that he was going after Evan caused an uproar because what type of person goes after a friend's ex? But in this video, James says everything that is said about him has been false. Roll the clip.
I do not support Evan Johnson in any way, shape, or form, and let me make that fucking clear. I don't support him, I don't support violence against women, and I sure as hell do not support the disgusting, deplorable, violent, heinous acts that he committed against Kayla Malik behind closed doors. I really fucking hope and pray that when this goes to court this week, Kayla gets justice for what that man put her through.
James stated that he filmed this before the court hearing, but didn't post it afterward. He clarified why he stayed silent. He argued that Kayla and he weren't that close to begin with, which seems to be a defense as to why he was asking her about Evan and their breakup. James goes on to say that he will be suing Zach Sellars for defamation, and he has no choice but to bring it to court. James then says that he reached out to Kayla in January to be in a Valentine's Day campaign with Evan for his makeup brand, and that's when she told him that they had broken up. James posted text messages that said, "Do you want to be in a painted video with your man?" Kayla replies saying, "I'm not even joking, this made me piss. I broke up with him effing last night. I saw your story and was crashing out. Tune in for the 30-part Who the F Did I Marry series." He said, "What?" And she said, "Girl, he's effing crazy, James." Then replies, "What happened? Can I have him now? I'm so sorry, Kayla, you deserve better." First, who says something like that to someone you told us isn't your friend? Why would that be the first thing you say after she told you he was crazy? He's so weird. I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but I wouldn't have found that funny even if we were friends. He said that he was joking when he said that, but it certainly wasn't funny. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let's get back to the messages. Kayla responds with, imagine, like the worst things a human can do to you. It would be hours to text it, but you'll see the series soon, cause what the F? But thank you so much. Congrats on all the painted love. He texted back and said, oh, God, you're actually doing a series on it? I'm sorry, she said. Oh, just wait, because I gave this man a platform based off his lies. But I'm going to heal from it and then clock it, as she should, period. James said, I'm sorry, Kayla. Then she said, you're so good. Thank you, sister. James admits he didn't take the conversation seriously, which he now regrets. James then admits that he had a friendship with Evan, claiming that he wanted to be there for Evan and listen to what Evan was saying. He then says that he was getting suspicious of Evan and that he had lied to Kayla at one point, and then had to ask Evan to leave his home, and he cut him off after that. This somewhat lines up with what Zach Sellars said. James and Evan had hung out in LA. James had lied to Kayla about hanging out with Evan, but James is saying that there was absolutely nothing romantic between him and Evan. He was trying to be a friend towards Evan because, of course, he was. James says that after he watched Kayla's videos, he got messages from Zach Sellars warning him to cut Evan off. He provided private messages from Zach, showing us that in both 2022 and 2023, he replied to James's story saying, you cute, keep being you, in April and then in November. He sent, good morning, handsome. Maybe one day you'll reply. And then another message in February saying, James, you were right. We are stupid. We lost at the casino. Then we can see that Zach sent another message in March that says, I need to get you to teach me how to do my makeup. Evan said, you need to start buying painted when I picked him up from the airport. In April, Zach sends another message saying, hey James, between you and me, I think you should cut Evan off completely. He really did do some unacceptable things. And told me last week that you were taking his side. Please keep this between us. But I cut him off today. He messages James again saying, urgent. Hey man, the things Evan has done are true and had us all manipulated. I have been posting my side of the story. Evan texted me and said that you told him to stay quiet and that Kayla is a liar. I also have his location when he came to LA to stay with you when no one knew and doesn't know. People are asking for more information. If you want to reach out, let me know. Just trying to get the true story out because he's evil. I was best friends with him here in Tennessee before Kayla's YouTube. Zach messaged again saying, is that something you want to keep private? I wanted to at least try to attempt to reach out to you. We've been on FaceTime in Evan's car that night when me and Evan were going to the casino. So if you're confused, Evan's ex-modeling buddy, he always talked about. Just let me know. So James says he's upset that Zach has been seen in this good light, despite being best friends with Evan. I think Zach hasn't been scrutinized like James because he has been speaking out and trying to bring justice for Kayla. They know that Kayla and Zach are friends, unlike James and Kayla, who James says aren't friends. Now, people are wondering if James is still supportive of Evan, and they have also questioned if he has been a friend to Kayla since he has been completely silent for the past 2 weeks. People also think that he hasn't changed from his previous cancellations since he is exhibiting the same behavior as before, such as going after straight men. Those were the reasons why he was under fire. It made the story blow up more because he was silent. And because of that, people were basically forced to come to their own conclusions and try to connect the dots and figure out what James's role is in this entire situation. I think James should have just said that he didn't support Evan Johnson the first time he was brought up, especially in something this serious. You do not want your name floating around during this mess. But the story became more significant and prominent over the last few weeks as more and more information came to light. James claims he was just friends with Evan and cut off Evan as soon as he heard about everything. He is undoubtedly only mad that he is the only one getting dragged through the dirt during all this, when Zach isn't. He is essentially calling Zach a clout chaser.
So to act this way privately and then to get online as if I'm some monster was wild to me. What started off as a video of James Charles supporting Evan Johnson behind the scenes snowballed into more videos, more content, and then live streams. Every single night Zach has been live asking for galaxies in exchange for showing more receipts. He's been asking his followers for their cities and locations so he can go on tour with Kayla after this is all over with. He's even been asking for donations on PayPal to fund a merch line. This has nothing to do with getting justice for Kayla and everything about making an opportunity for himself. And the perfect one came along when Be Better flew him out to Canada for their podcast interview.
This is the only thing I agree on with James. Imagine asking for galaxies in exchange for information about James, Kayla, and whoever. Trying to turn a woman's abuse into profit is making me side-eye Zach. Asking for donations for merch and tours is insane and honestly disgusting. James says, once again, that nothing romantic happened between him and Evan. He never gave Evan money or anything of that nature. He says he doesn't know if Evan lied to Zach about anything. But nothing sexual or romantic happened between them. There was a rumor that James paid for Evan's bail, but he also denied that as well. Zach later got online to respond to James, saying he hadn't lied.
Hey James, so I'm on here because I'm responding to your video because you're gonna sue me and I can't wait to receive those papers and take this to court because everything I have spoken about is the absolute truth. Kinda crazy that you've been blowing the hell out of Kayla's phone up and she's not responding to you because she knows what you are and she knows the character that you are and she knows it's the absolute truth. And then you wanna bring up Kayla's messages, my messages, but where are your and Evan's messages off Instagram? Oh wait, it was vanish mode. But just because it was vanish mode does not mean that we can't get a hold of those messages. Because when this goes to court, we will be able to get all of your Instagram messages. And I'm scared for whenever they get over to your Instagram and see all of your Instagram messages and all of your vanish mode because you don't want no one to take screenshots because who you think you are and who you are. But I'm scared that there's gonna be all these little kids that are gonna have to come forward because of all your past allegations. They're gonna also look at characters. They're gonna look at my character from the past and they're gonna look at your character from the past. And your character from the past is absolutely sick.
Zach says that James is effing with the wrong person and that he won't give up on this case. I guess we will have to see if James actually does take this to court. Before we go, I want to read some of the comments from James's response video. They will irritate you. This actually low-key seems sincere. This seems genuine. To be honest, the fact he did not stutter. Not a single stutter. Someone give this man an award. I actually believe this. He's even telling things that he did and regrets. I hate that last comment. Imagine centering your proof of innocence around he didn't stutter. James is media trained. He knows how to manipulate. He knows how to make an apology video. He has done it a million times at this point. He made a challenge on his show a few years ago based around making the perfect apology video. He's a pro at this. And the fact that you guys believe him is insane. You are insanely gullible if you think that because he didn't stutter, it makes him innocent. James knows how to brush things like this under the rug. He has a media team and companies backing him. He has money and resources to fix whatever crap he's pulled again. Think of all the times James was exposed for talking to younger, straight men, and how, in the end, it was just swept underneath the rug. There are multiple instances where James was exposed for doing disgusting things with proof, might I add, and within a week or two, it's completely forgotten about. It's crazy. James Charles is a media master. He knows what he's doing, and people will continue to let him get away with it. Thanks for sipping the tea with me on Pop Pulse by Dasirandungu, where the drama never sleeps, and neither do we. Don't forget to like, comment, and spill your thoughts below. Until next time, stay messy, but make it cute.